Hi, Michael McKinnon, Security Advisor at AVG, here to talk to you about how you can prevent strangers from accessing your home or business wireless network. You see, if you're running an open wireless network, you're inviting people like criminals who could be nearby to commit crimes online that could potentially implicate you in the future. You could also be doing things like exposing your PC or other connected devices on your internal network to potential threat and harm. And of course, you could be paying for the internet access that all your neighbours and people nearby are in fact using. And if anything, you're probably breaching the terms and conditions of your internet service provider's policy. So definitely you want to secure your network and prevent those strangers from using it. So how can you do that? And there are really three things that I want to talk about here. The first one is the network name. This is also known as the SSID, or Service Set Identifier. But essentially it's the name that will pop up on a device when you attempt to connect to the network, and I'm sure you've seen that before. Now, one of the disturbing things I have noted is that many people are setting their SSID or network name to something that is very easily identifiably theirs, such as their address, the name of their business, or their surname, for example. I've seen plenty of examples and I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. It's really important that you think about the implications of doing that, because if someone wanted to target your network, you're just simply making it very easy for them to work out which network is yours. So think about changing the name to something that's very private and very unique. Now, when you're in the router or gateway configuration settings, you might see an option that talks about being able to hide the SSID broadcast. And this means effectively that the network name can be hidden from view and it won't pop up on devices and you won't see that it actually exists. However, I wouldn't recommend doing this because it makes it very cumbersome to connect to the network, and a sophisticated hacker can still connect to the network anyway, regardless of whether you're hiding that broadcast or not. So just leave the option turned off and just set the network name to something very private. The next thing to look at is an option called MAC filtering. Now, you may hear people talk about using this feature, and it's not something I would actually recommend. What it does is it limits the connectivity to your wireless network to only a known set of devices. And again, it becomes rather cumbersome to manage, where you have new people come to your home or business and they want to connect to your wireless network, for example. And if you do allow them to connect, what you're going to have to do is go into the configuration each time and add their MAC address. Now again, a sophisticated attacker can defeat this measure, so it's not something you really have to worry too much about. The third thing, however, is encryption, and this is where you really can make a difference to the security of your wireless network. So I would strongly recommend that you set up the security properly, or the encryption properly, with a passphrase, and I'll show you what you need to do there in a moment. But there are three settings that will generally present themselves for the encryption, three different types of encryption, and they are WPA, WPA2 or WEP. Now, I would strongly recommend that you do not select WEP. This is an old protocol that's quite a few years old, and it has been cracked and it's very easy to defeat. So stick with WPA or WPA2. Now let's talk about the password or the passphrase that you should have on your wireless network that people will need to enter before they can connect. Now, I would really recommend that you have a really long password, at least 20 characters in length. And that seems awfully long, and it's designed intentionally to be something that you can't remember. But where I would normally give you advice about having to never write down a password, in this instance you should write this password down. And sometimes you might find it convenient to actually write this or print it onto a sticker and place it on the underside of your router or gateway, and that way you can easily refer to it at any point in the future. For more great tips like this, please visit our website blogs.avg.com. Thank you.